Now, today on the program, Presidential CNG initiative rolls out activities leading to nationwide launch of the program. ASUU threatens no pay, no work over non-payment of salary arrears. And later on, we'll share this with you. Federal government tackles Atiku over 20 trillion naira pension fund, allays fear of Nigerians that it is safe. Okay, I'm hanging out with Asokwa James. Asokwa, I greet you one more time. Welcome.
Yeah, good evening.
Asokwa, we are joined by Charles Ideho. Charles, good evening.
Yes, I'm here. Thank you very much for having me. Asokwa, long time we've not,
Yes.
not done a tag team for a long time.
Exactly.
All right, the team is ready. I hope you are. Okay, our first story. You know, the compressed natural gas, CNG, is an eco-friendly alternative to gasoline or diesel. It is considered safer because it is non-toxic and reduces harmful emissions. We can tell you that the Presidential Compressed Natural Gas Initiative has rolled out its national deployment plan, which is billed to launch from between the 15th and 30th of May 2024. Now, part of it is the Southwest engagement meeting with key players on implementation and sustainability of the initiative. The project director, Michael Oluwagbemi, disclosed that the initiative is part of the commitment of the Tinubu-led administration to foster sustainable energy solutions and reduce carbon emissions in our country. This, if you ask me, is a remarkable milestone in the country's journey towards achieving energy efficiency. But first, let's share the story of the engagement in Lagos by TVC News' Ayomide Ajeigbe. Let's go there.
Meeting is to interface with all stakeholders, both professionals and artisans, to drive the message of CNG-powered vehicles and its contributions to a substantial increase in carbon emissions.
It not only seeks to revolutionize Nigeria's transport sector with cleaner energy, but also commits to upskilling and training about 25,000 auto technicians in the process.
Every filling station, the way they have petrol, kerosene, and diesel, to also have a CNG dispenser.
At the panel session, Professor Yola Oni urged government to ensure there is balance between demand and supply, so that Nigerians' expectation will not be short-lived.
We must not make a mistake of over-sensitizing people to roll out the conversion and the vehicles. In the end, they will not be able to access this facility.
In layman's language, government representative states the benefits of CNG-powered vehicles.
2 vehicles were deployed from Abuja to go to Ibadan.
Is it working?
The same kind of vehicles, and they got to Ibadan. When they wanted to refill, they found that the petrol-driven vehicle had to spend 50-something thousand naira to refill, whereas the CNG-powered vehicle spent just about 20-something thousand naira.
There are thousands of CNG vehicles all over the world. You don't hear about the explosion of CNG vehicles. But you see, that's about petrol vehicles. We need to switch to something that's safer.
Drivers, riders, automobile mechanics and artisans say they are ready to align with the CNG revolution, as it is an escape from high cost of fuel.
Be sincere is a new development to us, because what we have been facing concerning this fuel, and at least if this thing have come, at least it will change many things to our people.
There should be another way that will be a succor for every downtrodden. So, and that is exactly what is happening with CNG.
Every stakeholder here agree that this policy will not just favor the rich, but also the poor in the society. And one of the stakeholders highlighted that federal government should approve a policy that slashes 50% on import duties for all CNG imported vehicles. Ayomide Ajeigbe, TVC News, Lagos.
Many thanks again, Ayomide. Asoko, you were part of this.
Yes.
What can you share with Charles and I?
I was at that stakeholders meeting, and I would say truly this is more or less like the foundation to one of the policies of this government, which I believe is going to go places. In that is a revolution, truly is a revolution, based on the submission of the panelists as well as the initiator of, of this program and project. The stakeholders meeting actually had the NURTW,
okay,
the Road Transport Employees Association of Nigeria, yes, yeah. And not only those, the transporters, they had mechanics, they had technicians, So
are they persuaded? Do you think they are convinced?
Yeah, well, from all indication, they are. In fact, I didn't want to sit where the who is who, you are sitting. I decided to sit where I will be able to ask questions with, the mechanics and the technicians. And they seem to be very, very satisfied. Yes, they are. At some point, they were thinking it will be more about losing their jobs. But do you know what? Most of them, the mechanics, some of the mechanics I actually spoke with, we are very enthusiastic about it. They were happy that this is going to upskill them, so that they don't start looking at just breaking parts and all that. This is another level of mechanic, which is for them to get those cylinders and be able to put it right where it is supposed to be. So even as we speak, in Lagos, the association is training mechanics on how to also put these things, these CNG cylinders in the cars.
Yeah.
So which to me, most of them, we are very, very happy about it. And from all indication, the southwest, because they had Ogun, the commissioner for transport coming from Ogun. Ogun State is the first state in Nigeria that started using CNG.
Okay.
And they are doing it very well. All the major BLT buses is coming in.
The commissioner was there to share.
Yes, his own ideas. Yes, the know-how and how it's working in Ogun very well.
Okay.
And so it's really opened the eyes of so many people there so this thing can really happen. And from what I've seen, and even yesterday, they even went on a tour to one of the conversion centers. And I think we also showed that one too. And it shows that Nigeria is moving gradually out of fossil.
We're going green.
Yeah, little by little. It's just baby steps. And I like what Michael Oluwagbemi is doing. From what he was saying.
That's the director.
Yes, the program director. Yeah. He's saying something. He's saying, we are not rushing. We are just taking our time and taking those steps one at a time. And if you do that, it means at some point, everybody will embrace it. Everybody, all Nigerians. As I'm talking to you, I'm already thinking of, can I also go the CNG way? Mm-hmm. Because it is cheaper.
Okay.
Another thing is that your engine will be saved if you use CNG. It will last longer. Your engine will last longer.
Yeah.
So rather using. And you can use the two. You can either use the petrol or you use the CNG. But the concerns about most of them was that
power.
Not power.
Okay.
They were even afraid about substandard conversion kits being sent into Nigeria.
Okay.
You understand? That was their major concern about the people that
genuine concern.
It was genuine. You understand? It was genuine. And I looked at it and I said, well, it's true, because sometimes you see, and it was one of them who even sat with me. He said, see, I want to bring a particular product. I went to China. He actually went to China to train. And he said when he was in China, one of his trainers was saying that, see, this thing that I'm showing you, a Nigerian came to me, said we should reduce the quality, and so you can bring as many as possible. So if somebody has that kind of orientation, that is the kind of concern the person actually brought in. So from all he wanted to do was SON, because he kept saying SON, 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 because
Standards
Organization of Nigeria must be deeply involved, and then the president has to pull their ears, because we are talking about gas here. We are not talking about
highly combustible and all that.
You understand?
Okay.
So from all that happened on Wednesday, I think Nigeria is moving forward.
Ready. Yeah.
Yes, we are really ready for us to move from petrol to CNG.
Okay. Charles, do you have any reservations here?
Yes, I do. But before reservation, I think first I must applaud the government's initiative, and particularly the stakeholders, and then, sensitizing the people. They didn't just want to just go the usual way, let's do it, and then damn all the consequences. They got the Ministry of Labour involved. They also got NSC involved as labor movement. They also got journalists involved, so that if something is happening in Lagos, I know what's happening between South, Southeast, happening in Enugu. Today is South, in Enugu, and all that. So people are already being sensitized before even we kicked off, but again, for people to drive in and all that. But my concern, as I said, is that because I looked at it, why should I have a preference for CNG to what I already have now? So there are dangers that people have to look at for them to rush into that, because there are some people who are including they said about the pressure in some of this, like you also mentioned about
the pressure for CNG is not as heavy. CNG is lighter than LPG.
Yes. Okay. Well, again, I also
CNG is maintained.
For me, I said I asked myself, if I want to go the CNG way, what are the harmful effects with my car,
if any?
Yes, if any. Well, I looked, I said, your engine runs dry when it is on CNG, so the spark plugs. And the engine wear more than they should. I marked that down. Number two is that you will have to visit the service center more frequently if your car is on CNG, and will have to keep a check on your car's engine that's running. I also kept that. Also, you will have to pay more attention to your car if you're on CNG. So these are the things that people have to look at. Not just when you go the CNG way, you want to drive the car the way it has already been driving it. So you know that now we are leaving the fossil fuel era and then moving to gas and so on. The other one is this. We discussed it before we came on there. What plans have been put in place to ensure that the Nigerian way that you are having now will not also go the gas way, that you now have people making gas to be artificially scarce and all that.
Broach a bit.
Good. So gas will not be artificially scarce, so that people can make money and all that. Because remember then, this cooking gas, we have problem cooking gas from 400 naira to now. Today, you know how much it is and all that. So are there things that have been put in place by this government to ensure that such things will not creep in, and then will not be rushing again? People will not be queuing up, having a long line of, instead of queuing for fuel, you're now queuing for gas and all that. So these are the things we want to look at and all that,
This is it.
Yes.
This is it. I'm not the government.
No, these are my concerns.
I was at the stakeholders meeting, and so, like I said, this is just a baby step.
Okay.
And as we speak, I know about 50 stations are already on ground, and they are planning about maybe about 1,002 or thereabout that will be given licenses. So if we have more, because the concerns also by the transporters was, okay, if we even put this, where are we going to refill?
That's also a concern.
If we have more centers, more stations, like I was saying, I think yesterday, Agidingbi, there's a mobile filling station in Agidingbi. They have converted one particular part to CNG.
Okay.
Station. So it means if you're on CNG, you can easily drive there. Yes, you will talk about, okay, we leave the cars. That is why the people who are converting, they are not converting totally. You still have your petrol enabled and you have your CNG. So once your gas is finished,
switch over.
You can switch over automatically, from the people who are using this. Yeah. So yesterday I was even having a conversation with MJ yesterday after the show. And he was even telling me about Uber driver who actually picked him up in Abuja. And this thing is cost effective. People who are using it will not tell you how cost effective it is. It's just like the solar. You know, yes, it might be expensive to, you know, to have install a solar now. But if you look at the long-term value of having a solar in your house, you will understand that it is better you have.
But I also have another concern because it's a new phenomenon, and rather than just...
It's a new phenomenon in Nigeria.
In Nigeria, no, I mean. That's what I mean.
Because I know that abroad. Because I know that even in the UK when I went
I'm speaking relatively.
City of London, you cannot drive any car that is petrol.
Yeah. For now, my other concern is the haste with which the federal government want to run this. Now, there's this presidential order that all government agencies must now be CNG driven and all that. Yeah. No, what I'm saying, where it is my concern is that shouldn't we just do maybe a piecemeal approach to it rather than just going this way, one first swoop?
Yes, of course, they are taking it, like as we speak now, the Ministry of Finance they have ordered for about 500 vehicles of CNG vehicles. Okay, they are CNG enabled. So that is one ministry. So maybe another ministry will take. So it's one step at a time. One step at a time. We have not gotten to that part where Citizen Jones will change his Toyota Camry.
But Citizen Jones is not government. I'm talking about government giving an order.
That's what I'm saying. We have not gotten to that part.
Okay.
So let's start with the government. If government is serious,
then we test run it and look at all the.
So May 29th. Yeah, okay. So at May 29th, the president is coming up with new initiatives.
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
Okay.
Concerning the
CNG. But mine is simple. Simply this. Government, our business here is to mold opinions and allow decision makers to take heed. You know, mine is there's a huge difference between a good sounding project and a project that sounds good.
Okay.
So I wish us Godspeed.
That's it.
So we stop playing catch up. Right.
Okay.
I can't wait for
CNG to be in your car too.
Oh yeah.
That's fine.
All right, to our next story. You know, the ghost of the crippling strike by members of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASUU, is about to be exhumed. Also, it seems ASUU has threatened to down tools after 2 weeks if President Bola Tinubu's administration fails to pay public university lecturers their 2022 withheld salaries, but hold on to that of 3.5 months. A displeased ASUU president, Professor Emmanuel Oshodeke, I hope I got that right, argues that public universities in the country have so far covered the work for the period they were on strike in 2022 and should be duly paid.
Yes.
I share that sentiment.
I do, but again, at what cost? I looked at it. I have kids in the university. You're looking at a situation where people are going to be half-baked because they want to ensure that they rush the academic session in order to meet up with.
Exactly.
I calculated, I'm going to mention university. I calculated a university's the year, academic year, exactly. A program that is supposed to run for 4 years is going to be running for about 3 years. As we speak, I know in university we did that. Somebody's going to be graduating in the next 3 years here in Nigeria because we want to hasten to catch up with all this. Yes, I quite understand.
Well, if you satisfy the conditions.
Conditions, I think, what? When you rush people, I mean, lecturers, this is university. We all pass through university here. You know what it be for you to be well grounded in the course of study. Now you are coming out to now begin to use that course of study to disrupt whatever it is in the society and whatever. I mean, as journalists today, now we went to school, we can speak English and all that. But if we had been rushed through the system, maybe syntax errors will be, you feel syntax error and all that. But you see, that's my fear.
But ASUU president has a point here.
No, he does have a point. That's why I say at what cost? You know, I asked that question, rhetorical question, at what cost? But on the flip side, I think federal government has to actually do a lot to ensure that our university system is not further depressed because over time, you see, ASUU here today, ASUU, we can't afford another strike. Nearly 8 months. Now, two things they are anchoring their arguments on. Yeah. Number one is that out of the 7.5 months that they worked, they no work, no pay. Government have been able to pay them about 4 months. What happened to the 10.5 months and all that? Yeah. Then the NASU and the other ones, they have not been paid at all. And the Minister of Education says, okay, they'll go look into that. Number two, for about 11 months, the absence of the governing council is very important. Now, how can, for instance, and ASUU is also arguing, in a governing council with a membership of about 17 or 16 or 17, as the case may be, government has just about six of them. So why should government that has, less number of people in a board, you are now controlling the ones that have majority and all that. So I think government has to do a lot to see all the governing council. Right now, ASUU is complaining, all the contracts that have been awarded and executed, the decision they have been taken at the Senate and all that, all of them have no backing of the governing council. That's illegality. We cannot allow these things to continue to fester. So that's my fear.
Well, it's not a question of saying there's too much government in government. Yeah, but ASUU knows the future of these children are in their hands.
Exactly. So just like Charles is saying, it wouldn't be right for our children to be rushed into coming out. Because you sent a child to school, a 4-year course is now a 3-year course. Because they do it abroad, or because they just want to make sure that they meet up. Because the ASUU president was saying, okay, we have concluded the 2023-2024 academic session. Now we are by October we should be in another session. Oh yeah. It's not about that. It's about inculcating the right, values and giving them the right education. So that when they are coming out, they are not half-baked. Because if you notice, most students coming out from the university.
No, you mean most graduates.
Oh, sorry. Most graduates. Most graduates coming out from the university, they are really giving us headache.
Yes, exactly. Look at when most you employ some of them. And
so sometimes once you employ most of them or you talk to some of them,
you get the quality.
You begin to ask yourself, did this one actually pass through the 4 walls? And that is what issue that should even concern ASUU the more. Yes, we know this is about their welfare because they are working, they have to be paid. This government definitely, once it's just like a company. If you are buying a company, you buy both the asset and liability. Yeah. So they have bought the liability of the previous government. So we are just going to beg President Bola Tinubu to see what he can do. Although the ASUU president was saying they are not supposed to beg, it's not a favor.
Yeah. They end it.
No, but the thing is, the thing is, there's a policy called no work, no pay. So this president can decide to say, okay, fine, I don't want to pay. So what we on this table will do is also appeal to the president to see how he can offset their 3.5 months so that all this issue about ASUU going on strike, threatening left, right, and center will not, impede the development of our children. Because if you don't want to see your child being taught by a disgruntled lecturer.
Yeah, but mine is, let me weigh in here by saying this. I trust you will understand me. Charles Asukwo, nobody gets educated at a university. You only get taught. They say when you leave school, what you do with what you were taught constitutes your...
But how about what they are being taught? They are not being taught
well, and then you now carry it outside.
What do they carry outside?
We're saying the same thing. So it depends, So
because the foundation is very important in human development.
Okay,
human development or human...
teaching is the foundation.
Exactly. It's the foundation.
And it's a two-way street. We must talk to students.
No, for instance, let me say, today, some of us who know more than a modicum level of English language, I see talked about it that some of us, better grammar helped us a lot in those days, where you identify the parts of speech, how to, pronoun and all that, you are easily able to identify and also to use them. But today, that's the foundation that we got from primary and secondary school. Exactly. But today, I remember where a place that I managed over there, people will come on internship. Some of them even say they passed through Nigerian Broadcasting Academy. I say, is that the same school that people like Joseph? When they talk, I say, you are a body broadcaster? Look at some basic little errors they make because of the absence of that, the foundation that we're talking about. So it's missing. Once the foundation, the Holy Book said, if the foundation be broken, what can industrials do? What can students do?
Yeah.
A total question.
Okay. On this show, we also make money. So time for us to go on a commercial break.
Yes.
We'll be back shortly. Please stay with us.
Taraba State Government hereby invites the good people of Takum and the general public to the official reception in honor of the new first-class Chief of Takum, His Royal Highness Barrister Sophia Amadu Boshi, scheduled to take place on Saturday 18th of May 2024 at Rimi Primary School, Takum, from 2 p.m. prompt. The occasion will be graced by the Governor of Taraba State, His Excellency Dr. Agbu Kefas, as Chief Host. His Excellency Godwin Obaseki, Governor of Edo State, as Special Guest of Honor. His Excellency Barrister Caleb Mufwan, Governor Plateau State, Guest of Honor. His Excellency Umaru Fintiri, Governor of Adamawa State, as Guest of Honor. His Royal Majesty Dr. Ishaku Ada Ali Akuka, as Royal Father of the Day. Announcer Barrister Zainab Usman Jalingo, Commissioner of Information and Reorientation, Taraba State.
All right, welcome back. What more do we say? Safe to advise both ASUU and government, we cannot afford another round of strike. As they say, gentlemen, enough is already too much.
Yes.
Okay, then, to our next story. You know, there is a rule for politicians all over the world. It is this: don't say in power what you say in opposition. I hope you got that right. Opposition politician and the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, in the 2023 elections, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, has criticized the federal government's proposal to use the 20 trillion naira pension funds for infrastructure projects, labeling the plan as illegal. But a group, the Independent Media and Policy Initiative, IMPI, has accused the former vice president of raising a false alarm, as well as employing manipulative logic and lies in its criticism. The federal government assures, however, that the pension fund is safe. Asokwa.
Yeah, our opposition politicians, sometimes they should also be looking at the books rather than bringing out.
You mean the facts?
Yeah,
facts are sacred. Only comment is free.
Yes, of course they can make comments, but being factual is key. Because once you begin to peddle rumor or fake news,
when you twist facts
or misinformation, okay, you begin to let people begin to hate the government for no reason.
Okay.
Especially, we are just 1 year after the election, the general election, and so many people are still aggrieved.
Still hurting?
Yes, up till now. They've not moved on. And so...
Asokwa, it is natural.
No, I know it's natural, but the thing is there are some things that you should just move on, and try and see how you can walk your way again, if at all. Like somebody like Atiku, will he be coming back again? The only thing he will just be doing is just for him to be causing this kind of problems where there are no problems, Because if you look at the pension, yes, this is pension fund. You have a pension fund. You are you have pension. Yeah. I have. But it will be foolhardy, or it will be very unwise for the government to say, let's just keep the pension. If there's a section in the Pension Reform Act that says that pension funds can be used, can be invested. Okay? And it is not just being invested in anything, but they have even put it there in black and white, what you can invest in, which is bonds and securities.
Yes.
and who has the bonds and security? It's the federal government or the CBN. We sometimes, even individuals, will buy bonds, you know, and it is even more safer to buy those bonds. So if the federal government is saying, okay, we want to pick from, they are not picking everything. The Act also gives a percentage which can be used as investment. Yeah. So I'm not sure this government will be it's so...
5 or so percent.
Yeah, no, even 2%. I think 2% of the total pension fund, you know, or 5%. 5%. You know, 5%. Just pick 5% and invest.
5 of 20 trillion.
Yes. You know, just pick 5%, invest in bonds, you know, in that security. And then from there, once the thing gets to the bonds, that is where the federal government will now use it and invest in the infrastructure they are talking about. So if tomorrow now, these same people that are shouting, if tomorrow the federal government starts to invest in this security, in this particular investment, and say, okay, let's start tolling, they will still be the ones to complain. They will still be the ones to complain. You know, so the government is just trying to see how they can reduce the hardship and the inflation that is going all around. You know, so we know that nothing can happen. Everybody, this is our pension. Everybody is opening their eyes. Nigerians are more wiser than before, that somebody will just come dip hand somewhere. No. Yes, it's good that he's asking for details. And that is where I also want to go. The minister, the coordinating minister for the economy, can also come and say, okay, fine, this is XY amount that is in the pension fund. We are picking 5% and we are going to use it, you know, for this. Communication is key.
So if the opposition picks that aspect, according to it, it should state it as it is.
Yes, but not going not left, right, and center and saying it's disturbing, it's distressing, we don't want all those grammar. Mr. Minister, you know what the Act says. It says 5%. Make sure you pick only 5% of our pension fund, and also make sure that it is used for bonds and security as stated in the Act. Simple.
Yeah. Okay. Charles, you have any contrary?
Well, for me, I think no matter we like Atiku or not, we can't just wish away what he has said. Of course, he's a Nigerian, and he has the right to also task this government. I mean, if he hadn't brought that out now, not many people would have understood that the government is also planning to also take from there.
No, he said it.
I'm saying so. But I think what I have a problem with...
But as I said, twisting facts.
Yeah, I understand. But what I have a problem with, you see, I think information management of this government still has a problem. I mean, let's look at it. This government, no matter how well-intentioned its actions and programs are, the information management of this government has a problem. Look at the cybersecurity issue that, you know, I mean, the furor that is generated until the president says, okay, let's just halt it. It wasn't well, you know, coordinated. It wasn't well, you know, taught to people for people to understand. Some of this is you have to do a lot of sensitization. For instance, like what we were talking about, that the Pension Reforms Act 2014, and the revised regulation of the investment of pension, that's pension access, issued by National Pension Commission. What it states is that pension funds can invest no more than 5% of the total pension funds in infrastructure investment. Yeah. But we also know that whether it's 18 trillion or how much, about 20 trillion, but 75% of it's already invested in securities and all that. So what government needs to do is that it's a good, because it's like a dormant thing that's all just hanging there. The government can even use and then generate it and also pay back. Because many the workers don't all retire at the same time. There are people who still have about 16 years to go. There are people who still have 20 years to go and all that. So it's safe for government to say, okay, well, let me pick from it before these people will retire. The thing would have matured and then put it back. But when it is not well communicated, that's where the problem is. So an article is now feasting on it.
When there is no information, as we say in this business, rumors will
thrive. Exactly. So an article is feasting on this issue of, you know, twisting the whole thing, and now government is now struggling to now explain some of these things away, which of course they ought to have done earlier. Just like what they are doing, the CNG we have talked about. See how they are going to places explaining beforehand. Before, I mean, people are beginning to get involved, and they are beginning to get interested in it because they are being told what to expect. So that's exactly what I think this government should try. They should work on the information management so that we don't have all these front and back issues.
And at the same time, opposition politics, yes, must let you know it is there.
Yes, it's there, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course.
In fact, we need opposition because that is the only way the democracy can be, existing, and even make sense. Because no democracy would exist without opposition. A credible and a viral opposition.
Yeah.
Not an opposition that tomorrow they will start being toxic and violent. No, we don't want that. We want opposition that, okay, at the end of the day, you can state your facts. If you have your facts, bring it to the table, and let the government begin to, just like he's saying, issue about communication is very key in every government, any government at all. So before any government policy comes in or comes out, somebody in the government has to say, okay, fine, we are planning on XYZ. Okay, this is what we intend to do. This is how we are going about it.
Every doubt
is removed immediately.
So
exactly.
The opposition will still come back there. They can still come and say, there are some questions that we also need to ask.
It makes it richer, and then engagement will be there.
Engagement will start.
Yeah, exactly.
You understand? So, not that they will just go to one public place and then they will just say it, and everybody will just...
And you expect everybody to be aware.
Everybody will be shocked, and then from there, it will now generate a lot of, uproar, and everybody will begin to say, well, why? This is my money. Why are you taking my money? Blah, blah, blah. No. So, we need the opposition, but let the opposition be the ones that will help engender good democracy. That is the only thing.
For instance, the way Atiku is taking it, Atiku is taking it as if his government wants to steal it.
No.
But Atiku is not letting the people know that there's a law that you can borrow from
their
it.
Government is not
more than 5%.
Exactly.
He's not saying that. So
that's saying that.
Charles, it is not in the place of Alhaji Atiku Abubakar
to say
about that part of the
but it can also, that thing still can generate a lot of violence because of that word still. Because if you go and look at his own statement, it's distressing, it's disturbing, they want to steal. Oh, you can't use all those words. Because if I'm home, I'm a retiree and
you say your money
wants to steal my money.
Of course.
Or I want to retire.
You get incensed.
Exactly. Immediately, because the first thing I'll say, what have I enjoyed in this government?
Which is why this government has to be ahead
of
in terms of information management and all that. So dissemination information.
We are not saying there shouldn't be opposition, but let the opposition know the kinds of words they use, for them to.
Charles, it is not that you want a job.
From where? No.
From there.
I have a job already.
Okay.
I have a job I'm doing. What I'm saying is that I'm only trying to help the government to know what they should do or do better. If, for instance, all this we are saying now, it has been communicated properly, we won't be here talking about this thing today. I'm not looking for government jobs. If that's what we are saying.
Charles, government has people who should do things like that.
Yeah, I know.
It's just,
I'm managing a radio station for now, so let's leave it at that.
Don't worry, I'm not going to court. Don't worry. So it bears repeating here that, yes, opposition must be credible and keeps government on
their toes. Exactly.
It's natural. And government, by the same token, must bridge these gaps.
And cover those loopholes, exactly. So that you don't leave doubts in the mind of people.
Anybody,
yeah, there are so many fantastic.
You don't leave doubts in the mind of people.
Fantastic policies from this government, but communicating it in the right way is another problem.
Ahead of time too.
Very, very important. Before it comes out, tell people this is what we intend to do. We just said something about the CNG. Going meeting stakeholders.
Sorry, may I drop this here? Are we in any way missing the National Orientation Agency?
No, they have the agency now. They have the agency.
I know. Are we missing?
Well, I'm sorry. I hope what I'm saying is not going to be offensive to some people. As a journalist, I've not heard that National Orientation in the news for a long time.
They have.
That's why I'm asking if we are missing it.
Well, I'm not helping. That should be their primary job.
No, the thing is,
yes,
if I have an agency, but
which agency is this?
They have funded.
So which agency is this, Asuko?
The orientation agency.
National. No. National Orientation Agency.
Charles,
agencies are supposed to.
Charles, if you are in doubt, go to Google. It will tell you. There's a DG National Orientation.
No, it's not. No, it's about DG is there. Now we are Atiku has gone to town, stoking the fire.
So it is the national.
It is the national. It's supposed to douse this fire. That's what I'm saying. But we are doing it now because national agency is not doing it.
But that is our work.
Okay.
We are doing our work. Okay then. So in taking this home, there's nothing to remove from what.
But what Atiku has done, he has also allowed people to understand what government wants to do. But as Asuko has said, opposition is just not to want to gain unnecessary popularity, wanting people to know that you exist. So at least you bring this thing, bring the facts out. This is what we have done if we're in government. That's opposition. If we're in government, this is what you ought to have done. This is what you're supposed to do. And that's exactly, instead of saying it as if people are going to steal.
Of course, I started by stating the rule. It is this: don't say in power what you say in opposition.
In opposition, that's it.
Simple.
I agree.
And every opposition politician must take heed.
Yeah.
All right, then to our last story for the day. According to the Canadian actor and comedian Jim Carrey, let me quote him, "If you are not in the moment, you are either looking forward to uncertainty or back to pain and regret." End quote. Now, the federal government admitted that most of the electricity distribution companies, what we know as DISCOs, in our country are technically insolvent and unable to pay for invoices sent to them from the electricity market and invest in network expansion projects. Chairman of the Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Commission, NERC, Sanusi Garba, says this poor financial state of DISCOs makes it difficult for them to raise the needed capital to invest. Does this explain our difficulty in meeting our energy requirements? You attempted.
Yeah, part of it. If you have a company that is insolvent, that company cannot go to the investable or the investment market to want to take investment for investable projects and all that. This is the problem. Now, when you also don't have the integrity to have money lent to you, there's a problem. Now, they want to expand, they can't expand because anywhere they go to, they look at their records, they are not fit. And that's a problem. So it stifles.
No clean bill of health.
Clean bill. It stifles that the desire to want to expand so that we can enjoy what we call 24/7. That's why you see they're just being clever by half, dividing the country into band A and band all this, band B and band all that. Now, Asuko, DISCOs owing GENCOs about 1.3 billion naira debt. Within, that's internally. A certain sector has generated the electricity and sold to you. You have dispensed with it, you can't pay back. You expect to go back again and pick more power. What you are owing me pay, but they can't pay. That's on the one hand.
But have you heard this before? Have you heard the insolvency of this?
It's been here, it's been here. Another one, not only that, only 1.3 billion they are owing the GENCOs, they are also owing the gas companies $1.3 billion, not even naira. So how can you trust such people to want to lend money to them? That's why investors, foreign investors, you are having this scarcity of FDIs coming into that sector because they have nothing to show to them that, their track record is almost zero. Yeah. They can't invest, they can't expand because the funds that they are supposed to need to invest, nobody's giving them because nobody listens to them. Because everybody is afraid that you're poorly managed and all that. So I can't trust my funds with you. And that's exactly why we are where we are right today. We are still suffering from the sins of our fathers of yesterday, in the manner of speaking. Yes.
Asuko, the DISCOs, 11 of them at the beginning, we had the insolvency angle to it. And that they were not properly. Have you heard also that DISCOs, whatever set them up was not
properly put in place. Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, I heard that.
Of course, then they were all excited to buy the assets and liabilities.
Or not to sell to themselves.
So when they were giving them, they were thinking, yes, it is one of the best. Well, known to them, they didn't know that it was at some point going to, come to this, because most of them didn't even have the technical knowledge, to have even gotten this discourse. And that is why they are having this problem, Because once you don't have technical knowledge of a company, there's no how you won't run the company, So what is happening now? Yes, it was there in the past, but what have they done since then? Since it was sold to them, what have they done? Have they really invested much that one will say, oh, this disco have really, really invested in so? Because look at, we are talking, let's even assume metering, for instance. I know that there was a time, yes, I know there was a time.
Metering is key in the whole equation.
Yes, because if you meter all your own area, if you meter everybody there,
you make more money.
You make more money.
Because whatever power
comes, it goes straight to them.
That's it.
And if you don't have power, you won't buy, you won't have.
Yes, they always say, oh, some people are bypassing, they are doing this, they are doing that. Once you have the equipment and you know that XYZ number of people have been metered, you know how much is coming. So you can easily go to the discos and pick what you want for these people.
And in this day, in the 21st century Nigeria, where it's becoming a tall order to guarantee 24-hour.
No, that is if you are in band A. Even the band A, there was a play, what is it called, Magodo, that I went to the other day. They are in band A. I got there and I heard the generator, the noise of generator. I was wondering.
Maybe it's the band A generator.
I was wondering if this is band A people using generator again. So
what I was going to say is, because one way of arresting a troubled naira is simple. Give us electricity. Let's go back to production.
Production.
Again, we will make money.
Yes,
and the naira,
we gain weight.
But citizens, right now, most of those discos are insolvent. They can't make money. So, and that is where, now that they have moved the electricity to the concurrent
list,
state government can help them.
Oh, yeah.
Can invest in it. I remember when EcoNet came. I know Lagos State
also invested.
Invested, and I know how much was made from it. So they can also look at the metrics, how much can they make from it, and then invest in it.
Another angle I want to also add to this is that I think there were 11 in all.
11.
In a 36-stage structure.
Yes, it's
like what Minister Adelabu said.
No.
I like what Adelabu said.
Yeah.
That's
the
they are inadequate. Yeah, it's inadequate.
Yes.
For instance, in Lagos, please correct me if I'm mistaken, you have Eko and Ikeja.
Yes, Ikeja.
Two.
Those two.
Now, what will stop us from having to have all these things? Let's decentralize them and use the aboriginal 5 Lagos divisions, like Ikorodu, Ekpe, Ikeja, and then which other one? About 5 divisions of the aboriginal 5 divisions of Lagos State. We should be able to have each of these, whatever I call them or whatever name, in all this, and then decentralize so that it will be easily managed. The area will be easily managed. How can you echo this? I think from Ojuelegba down to the other one. I mean, it's too large. Lekki and all to Ekpe, and then the other one, the IKDC here. What they should do is to find a way to unbundle, if that's the word to use, and then bring in more players. And divide. Let's use Lagos as a case study, as a pilot scheme. To say, okay, let's divide this thing as I suggested, with the 5 aboriginal Lagos zones, and then try that so that it will be just nuclear of companies to micromanage some of these things and all that.
Let me drop this here. Gentlemen, when you hear that South Africa has a electricity storage facility in excess of 50,000.
8,000 megawatts.
Much of this power will come from coal.
Okay, did you also hear 2 weeks ago, it trended that Tanzania was shutting down some power stations because they have excess.
Yes, it was too much.
Tanzania is not in Europe. It's not in Africa. Africa. So how did they do it over there? That Tanzania if you look at the GDP of Tanzania, I don't think it will rival that of Lagos. Lagos is a state. So is it possible for us? It's not possible for us to go over there. Let's copy and paste and see how we can also get. So I mean,
I think the best thing is just like you said, just to unbundle this.
Let's unbundle them
because
decentralized.
I know Akwa Ibom, Rivers, and some other states.
Under one.
No. Is Port Harcourt this?
There's Ibadan. Ibadan is also controlling the IFO.
Hold on.
IFO and
Charles, he has mentioned Akwa Ibom. Akwa Ibom State, the power plant at Ikorobasi generates 101 megawatts of electricity. The whole state does not need as many as
1 megawatt
20, 30.
So what are they doing with it?
So they empty the 101 megawatts into the national grid.
And then it goes to Port Harcourt.
When it comes back,
it's like a candlelight.
Yeah.
This is what we are saying.
We have a choice. The answer to our problem, electricity power problems, is staring us.
But again, we also have to look at there's an instant law that I don't know how the level of power you must generate to feed it into national grid. We also have to look at that aspect of the law, not to make it compelling for you to feed to national grid. Because I can't remember how
Charles, yes. in the dying days of the Buhari regime, the states were empowered to generate.
States were empowered to generate.
Even now, there's a law that states can generate, they can distribute.
Yeah,
But the transmission, I think, is still...
But it's also in the hands of God. The TVC is also in the hands of the federal government.
You understand?
And that is where you have problem because it's obsolete infrastructure.
Yeah, exactly.
How about that?
But let them start doing the generation and the distribution
first. The TCN thing is this. You sell me goat, but now you hold the rope.
So how do I...
How do I take
And then the obsolete infrastructure also has to be looked at. Because if you have the Gencos, they have modern equipment, and then they generate the power lines that are supposed to take them. So you waste power.
Charles, Asukwa, before they take our light, let's begin to wind up.
Okay, that's it.
But we'll wind up now, but not before thanking Asukwa James for your time.
Thank you so much, Citizen.
And Charles Ideo for your time.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.
Well, as you can see, Babajide Otitoju is unavoidably absent. He should be back very, very soon. That will just about do it for the show today. If you missed any part of it, not to worry. Later tonight at 11, a repeat broadcast will take our airtime. And then on Sunday, we expand the field for you from between 1:30 and 3:30 p.m. To also tell you, we are on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I am Citizen Jones Hussein. Thank you for everything. Bye-bye now.
It was a shutdown. But this time it's going to be a night to remember. Lagos, are you ready? It's Ogbuefi live in Lagos from Onitsha to Lagos. Featuring AY, Clint the Drunk, Nedu Wazobia, Senator, Funny Bone, MC Danfo, Edo Pikin, Kaboko, Sawan and One, Albino Brothers, and lots more. Musical performances by Ayi Dons, Onyeze, Spackle Tea, and many others. Venue, Eco Hotels and Suites, Lagos. Date is Sunday, 26th May 2024. Show starts by 7 p.m. Tickets, regular 5,000 Naira. VIP, 25,000 Naira. Gold table, 2 million Naira. Premium table, 3 million Naira. Tickets are available at all Urban supermarkets or visit ariatickets.com. For table reservations, please call 0703-309-9740. Supported by Taka Group, Vera Angela Solution, Vintage, Volaroo Champagne, Wayne Homes, ICA Properties, Cubana Group, Demaco Wine, Viper Engine Oil, and Agu.ng. This event is powered by Talk Empire and Amana Agu. Packaged by Lanre Maku Event. Media partners, TVC,
Morning, no. Come. Now we are not the hurry go like say something they pursue now.
Oh God, Lord. Now favor with the sick so.
He did hospital with Mama Favor.
Favor get diphtheria. She dey.
Maybe you they carry a go take immunization.
Oh God, Lord,
I never give a vaccination before.
But since we born Favor, we never carry and go collect immunization before.
Mama Favor now your friend. You know they tell her.
I tell him. Even save me and my husband follow you talk that time. You dey here when Joy, my sister, born. Every time they carry him pikin for immunization as he suppose. Even Joy follow collecting COVID vaccine that time.
Now the head of our pikins them we dey talk for years. If them no collect their immunization, as he suppose be, now their head we dey put for danger. So you no go follow no road.
If your pikin miss to collect any immunization, then go any health center to complete them. Make papa and